Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Grue. And for Grue today, we got a very special guest. He is promoting his latest horror film, and his name is Ronen Rubinstein. And there's a new horror films out, Smiley Face Killers, and he's also in the hit television series 911 Lone Star. So yeah, I'm looking forward to talking to him, and that's coming up next. Okay, welcome to Gru, and thanks so much for coming on today as a guest, bud.
My pleasure, man. I'm excited to keep promoting Smiley Face. I feel like we've had a pretty big break, but I'm glad that we can do it again.
Nice. So like for anyone who hasn't seen the film, can you tell us what the film is and who you play in the film?
So, Smiley Face Killers is a psychological thriller slash slasher, uh, written and produced by Brett Easton Ellis. Um, and I play the protagonist of Jake Graham, and he's a college student that's dealing with some mental issues such as depression, and he's just trying to balance his life and just trying to be a normal kid with good friends, great girlfriend, and throughout this whole sort of journey that we get to see of Jake, he's being stalked and followed by a group of serial killers, and that's where the name Smiley Face Killers comes from.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
so it's this sort of really uh, beautifully paced and a bit of a slow burn, but a very specific slow burn of a cat and mouse. And a lot of it is the point of view of Jake, and we get to really get into his head, which was one of my favorite parts. And we get to really focus on the mental side of Jake, and what he's dealing with. And then obviously the grand slasher aspect of the show is the serial killers, and it it definitely becomes a heavy, gory slasher towards the third act of the film. But I love that the first and pretty much the middle of the film, it's very much a drama and a thriller and
Yeah.
a psychological drama as well.
Wow, nice. And like to play a role like Jake, how do you get into a mind frame to play that kind of role, someone who suffers from mental issues and drug use and all that?
It was definitely not fun, man. I'll be completely honest. It was not a fun process. I really sort of dove deep into the headspace, and physically it was extremely demanding, and I got hurt, and I had to drop a lot of weight,
Oh wow.
and it was a lot of the stunts are extremely intense, and I wanted to do all of them on my own, which back on it maybe I would have pulled back on a couple of them, but and then obviously mentally, sort of going to that place is not very fun, and you know after work I'd be just completely dead, and then we'd have to wake up the next morning and do it all over again. And we shot in Nevada, and it was the summer, and it was just so hot, and after all, it's an independent film, so it's not the
Hmm.
most glamorous production, and
Exactly.
it was rough, man. But I it was probably my most fulfilling work as an actor, because I really got to go to a place that I've always dreamed of as an actor, and things you always hear about when when actors talk about a character. And I'm glad that I was able to go there. I'm glad that I know I could go there now.
Hmm.
I have a lot to pull from. But it was rough, man. It definitely was.
Oh wow. And doesn't Jake play sport too
Yeah.
in the film?
Mhm.
And like that, that's I wanted to ask you. Like, did you have to train how to play sports, or have you played sports?
Um, I grew up playing soccer, and luckily there wasn't a lot of soccer scenes, so we didn't have to worry about if I still knew what I was doing. But um, yeah, it's just we. I think the only time you see me on the soccer field is when I meet my friend, and we never actually get to play. So that wasn't really a thing we had to focus on.
Okay. And how was it like working for Tim Hunter?
Yeah, Tim was amazing, man. He's such a OG, and he he knows exactly what he wants. He's been doing it for so long. Um, you know, from his film and television career, he's worked with some of the greatest actors. So he obviously knows what he's doing, and it was a lot to work. It was a lot of fun to work with, and it was nice. A lot of the times he sort of just sat back and let me do my thing, and I think that says a lot. And also Brett Easton, he had a lot of faith in me, and he also sort of just sat back sometimes and let me do my thing. And there was a lot of trust, and yeah, it was with those two. It was a very very good experience.
Awesome, awesome. And how is like the set and cast like? And I even see that Co Cody Simpson was on the cast, the singer.
Yeah, yeah. He I didn't realize how gigantic of a pop star he was until I started doing my research. And it was his first film, which was really cool.
Oh
And
wow.
he was such a pro, man. There was no ego, there was no stereotypical like, pop star coming to a movie set. He was super professional and like took it serious. And I actually thought his performance was pretty great. Um, and yeah, later on I learned that he's like, the Australian Justin Bieber. But uh, yeah, it was really cool actually. I was very pleasantly surprised.
Nice. And like without giving a lot away, like what scene did you like best and what kill?
Ooh. Well, I think I'm biased. I think my character's kill was probably the most tense, and I had a hard time watching it. My girlfriend was scarred for like 3 days.
Oh my God.
Uh, I told my mom she's not allowed to watch it, so I think that one for sure. It was really brutal, and you like you get to you get to sort of connect to this character, and you get to follow his life, and it's a really brutal death. And he was a good kid, man. He didn't do anything wrong, and he was just picked, and it was really sad. And then my favorite scene is, I don't know, man. There's a lot of scenes. I love the physical stuff, but then I also like the really like deep emotional stuff that I had with Mia, who played my girlfriend. Um,
Okay.
so probably a bit of both. That movie's so near and dear to my heart because I literally gave it my blood, my sweat, my everything. So I can't just pick one.
Okay. Was there any like funny or cool behind the scenes stories that happened on set while you were filming this?
I think the funniest thing is that for most of the movie, I barely have any clothes on, so I'm walking around set, and my rear end is out, and I have to like pretend like it's not a big thing, and it's getting coffee with the crew, and I'm like, hey guys, so all of you have seen my ass, so how's the weather today? Yeah, that was probably the most awkward, but they were all professionals, and we cracked some jokes about it, but everyone took it seriously because I was the one that had to do it. So they definitely respected the process, and they didn't make me feel weird about it or anything.
Okay. Hey, that's good though.
Exactly.
that was actually gonna be my next question. Is were you com comfortable like doing nude scenes?
Yeah, I never really had an issue with it. Um, you know, I think I've been partly nude for most of my career from a young age. So, I think my first film, I show my butt as well. And I was like, I don't know, 18. So, I never really had an issue with it. I sort of don't understand why it's still sort of taboo for, a man to be nude on camera, but for a female, it's almost expected and it's totally normal.
Exactly.
I just, I think you got to treat both of them the same way. And I've always been game for it. And I think it's totally fine. And uh, I knew how much it would be in this film, so I was a little nervous to see, once the product came out, and with social media, I must have seen, you know, a million memes at this point. So
Probably.
it comes with the territory, but I was never really nervous about it.
Well, that's good because like the the everyone wanted to go see the film because of who you play on 911 Lone Star, so that actually like helped the film get
Yeah,
watched more.
yeah, it was perfect timing. I'm actually quite relieved that the film didn't come out earlier because I don't think we would have gotten as many eyes on the film. Obviously,
Hmm.
Star has a huge following. It's all over the world, and people all over the world are watching Smiley Face. So it definitely helps a lot. And I think right now in Australia we're the number 3 film on iTunes. So
Oh,
it's amazing that we're still getting so much love and people are still watching it months after it was released. And hopefully we could turn it into like a cult classic or something, and
right, exactly.
we could revisit it throughout time. And um, I'm very proud of it. So I would be honored if it stuck around.
Nice, nice. And there was another horror film you made that was out around the same time as that.
Yeah.
No ec- escape. Can you tell me a little bit about that one?
That's also such a fun movie, man. That one is much more, you know, big and a huge cast. And um that movie was positioned around escape rooms and a lot of amazing practical effects. So it was definitely a different sort of genre film. And I played a completely different character. I played this like Russian sort of wealthy bad boy who had a Russian accent and only wore really nice clothing. And that was a completely different experience. And our director Will Wernick, he actually became a very dear friend of mine. And we're developing a movie currently
Nice.
together. So that was an amazing experience. He's an amazing director, an amazing person. And I mean that film did really well too, man. It's
Yeah, it
crazy.
did.
These movies came out in the heat of the pandemic, and I think people were just craving new content. And people all over the world watched it, and we even did really well in international box offices. And it
Nice.
was it was all very, very pleasant surprise. And I was just so, I mean, beyond grateful that I had 2 films come out last year. With the year that we had, it made everything a little better. And I just, it's crazy to think that you know they came out during the year that we just had. But it gave people something to do, and distracted people, and it entertained people. So I'm glad that that was able to happen. And um, a lot of people really, really enjoyed those films.
Nice, nice. And like I have to ask about this because like everyone, well, was questioning me if I can ask the questions, so I have to throw a little bit of 911 Lone Star in there.
Of course, of course.
So, you you would play T T T K on 911 Lone Star, and
Yeah.
like his character. I mean, it's not as heavy as who you play in Smiley Face Killers, but it's almost similar because they both have like a past.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So, did by playing this character on 911 Lone Star, did it help with playing who you played in Smiley Face?
Yeah, I mean, it would be flipped because I shot Smiley Face a few years ago, and
Gotcha,
uh,
gotcha.
but I think Smiley Face has set me up for, I think, for the rest of my career. I think that film is going to help me with any character I take on in the future. It taught me so much about, first of all, myself as an actor, and I will forever be grateful for big budget productions now, because I very vividly remember what the other side feels like, and all the things you don't have access to, and it just makes you appreciate something like Lone Star that much more.
Oh yeah.
I get to work on the Fox a lot, and I get to work with huge stars, and I remember what it was like when I had to do all my own stunts and very hurt. So yeah, but I think from a performing perspective, mentally they are very similar, because they both have similar issues with opioids, and they both have similar issues uh, with mental health. I think Jake was suffering from severe depression, and I think with TK it fluctuated in the beginning of the season. I don't think it was as bad as Jake, uh,
Hmm.
but the thing that I love about both of them, and I'm just so grateful that I get to play these kind of characters, is how many layers they both have. And the writers keep adding more and more layers for me to play, and it's such a nuanced character, and it makes my work that much more exciting, because I could really dive deep on a nuanced performance, and there's so many layers to play with. And I find that the most interesting kind of work, and I find that the most interesting kind of characters to watch. He's definitely not one note or two notes or even five notes. There's so much going on with TK, and with each episode there's always something new. So yeah, they're definitely similar in that sense. And Jake Graham forever will be in my heart, and that was a very, very special experience for me.
And what do you like best about TK and Carlos?
I just love, you know, I love everything about them, but I think how special they are to each other, how special they are for each other. Um, they would literally, I think, do anything for each other, and there's an immense amount of love there, and compassion. And from the beginning of season one, Carlos was sort of TK's support system, and
Hmm.
one person he was sort of able to trust and open up to after moving to Austin. So Carlos is extremely special to TK, and to see their relationship evolve the way it has. Now they're about to move in together, and they're about to be super domesticated, and they're really taking their relationship to the next level. um, I just find it so sweet and realistic and authentic, and there's nothing cheesy, there's nothing like overly dramatic. I just think it's a very normalized human relationship, and I just love how much they care about each other. And there's a lot of crazy stuff about to happen to the
Oh,
both of them.
nice.
Uh, I keep teasing people about episode 12, and I am not kidding, man. It's gonna be a crazy one, for sure, especially for them too.
And like, how did you get ready? Like the one 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 scene bet between you both. It's the scene, where you're coming through the door and you're making out and tearing the clothes off against the wall and all that stuff. Like, how did you get ready to film such like an intense kissing scene like that?
A lot of mouthwash and a lot of push-ups. That's about as much preparation as we did. We wanted to look really good on camera, and we wanted to make sure that our breaths didn't smell, and that's about as much as preparation we did.
There you go. Okay. And from playing him on the show, is is that what made you want to come out as being bi?
Yeah, it was a huge part of it. It was a huge part of it. I felt comfortable in my own skin for the first time ever. I think, with Raphael, who plays Carlos,
Mm-hmm.
he was a major supporting system through all this, and he was one of the very first people I told, and he was just a shoulder to lean on and somebody to vent to, and he was so supportive on and off screen, and then obviously the fans. I think the fans were sort of the final sort of push that I needed, because I saw how supportive they were of me with everything else, and sort of the effect that my character and me personally has had on them. So I sort of wanted to, finally reveal myself to them and show them how they've affected me, sort of switch roles,
Yeah.
you could say, because they've been the greatest part of all of this. I've been able to connect with kids, teenagers, adults from all over the planet, and to hear the connection that they've had. And so many people have had such a deep emotional connection to this show and to TK and to Carlos, and I knew that I could help even more people. And it's been extremely supportive, and the love from the fans has only gotten stronger and larger. And I'm forever grateful to them. And I've fully accepted them, and they fully accepted me. So I'm just so grateful to have them.
Wow. And like what would you tell like a young guy who's like young, say someone, a teenager in the high school, and he starts getting these feelings for a guy, but he's scared to act on them or scared to come out to his friends or his parents because he don't want to see how they act towards him if he comes out having feelings for guys. Like what advice would you give someone like that?
It's sort of, I sort of touched on this in the article with Variety, and it's definitely easier said than done, but it's sort of like, be your true self, and I think fully embrace your true self. Again, it's easier said than done. That's something that I wasn't able to do because of my surroundings, and
Mm-hmm.
it was either getting ridiculed or getting my ass kicked, or it's a scary place to be in. But I would say, try to find your people. Hopefully your friends can accept you for who you are, and that's a great place to start. um, you're not always going to have a smooth ride with your family. That's always a bit difficult, but maybe you get lucky, maybe your parents or your family are super supportive, and it makes things easier. But I would say, just try to embrace it, and just love yourself. And I think the biggest thing is know that you're not alone. I think a big thing is people feel alone when they're in this situation, and there's millions of people just like you. And whether it's finding somebody on social media, or finding a group on social media, or finding some characters on a film or on a TV show that you feel connected with, I think any of those things can help you feel a little bit better about the situation, and just more comfortable with yourself. And then you sort of slowly evolve from there, and just just don't put pressure on yourself, and just be easy on yourself. I think that's the biggest thing, because it could be hard. It can definitely be hard. I know personally how hard it could be, and we get through it though. We get through it. There's an amazing support system out there, and we get through it.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And I was reading, like, your girlfriend actually help help helped you with coming out as being bi, right?
Yeah, she was obviously, we've been together for a long time, and
Mm-hmm.
she's an incredible support system. And she was one of the first people that sort of pointed it out, and she was like, is there something we should talk about? She knows me better than anybody, and she noticed a few things, and I felt like I could be honest with her, and I was. And nothing changed, and I think it only strengthened our relationship, because now I can fully be myself with her, and she fully knows me. And I know that she's the most supportive, wonderful human in the world. And I'm just so grateful to have her, because I mentioned earlier is that a lot of people either don't have someone to support them, or are completely alone in this whole process, and that could be, I can imagine, extremely scary and difficult. And I'm just glad that I had her and her support from day one to today. And it's just a beautiful thing. And yeah, man, she's amazing.
Nice. And
Yeah.
what do you like doing for fun when you aren't doing this? I mean, I know it's fun to act, but, like, what are your other stuff you like doing?
you know I Yeah, I mean, I definitely enjoy my days off, that's for sure, because it's exhausting. And I like when I get to catch up on sleep. That's been one of my favorite. But I'm very much, I'm like a jungle boy, dude. I like being outside. I love being in the sun. I'm very grateful to have a pool right now that I could swim in. And I love just swimming and being in the sun. And I started watching cooking shows, and I'm completely obsessed. And it's definitely nice to watch something that takes your mind off things like the world, and everything happening in the world right
Oh,
now. And
definitely.
so it's nice to sort of disconnect, and just just be in the moment, and just enjoy things around you, because the world could be so loud. And it's just nice to sort of be in your own space. And cooking shows definitely help.
Yeah, definitely. And what songs do you listen to? Like, what's currently on, like, your iPod or your playlist? And
Oh, it's still the Kings of Leon record. I literally have vinyl right here.
nice, nice.
I I'm just they're my favorite band, and it just happens to be that this newest record is my favorite. So that's been on repeat since it came out. I should probably switch it up, but I just can't stop listening to it. It's so good, and you can put it on at any moment, and it's just amazing. So yeah, definitely still on that.
Nice, nice. Is there any television shows you're currently binge watching besides Lone Star?
I've been watching. So the cooking show I watch is called The Last Table, and that's on Netflix. And then I also started binging for the first time Modern Family, and
Oh, great show.
realize how of an iconic comedy that show is, and you know, I realized that they shot on the Fox lot, so now I'm like recognizing a lot of the sets, and you know, it's crazy to think that I work on the same space as they do, and you know, that show went on for I think 11 seasons, so it's
Yeah.
I remember always hearing about it and people always referencing it, and I never watched it. So I started, and now I'm completely obsessed, and I think it's one of the funniest things to ever be made. It's amazing, man.
Nice. One one of the shows I love a lot. I mean, I love Lone Star, but one show I actually start watching only like last year was a Shameless,
Oh yeah,
and
man.
I watched, like, I got so hooked. I'm so mad I didn't watch it from like the start. Like, I watched it last year and I binge watched like all the seasons because this is like the last one, the last season, and now I'm like sad because it's over.
Yeah, that's on my list, man. That's another one that everyone talks about, and it's I mean, you know, it's obviously amazing. I haven't gotten around to watching it.
Yeah, because you did a film with one of the characters from that show, right? Cameron Monaghan.
Yeah, yeah. I had a small part in a film when I first started off, and weirdly enough, Liv Tyler played his mom.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah, and I didn't get to meet her. I got to meet Cameron, but it's just so funny. It's like it's such a small world, man.
Nice. And do you play the drums too? I was reading something about you and drums. Okay, all right.
I play drums. I'm currently making music right now.
Oh, you are.
Um, yeah, man, I'm trying to bring back music that I grew up listening to. You know, all different sorts of genres. I just feel like, you know, rock and roll and alternative rock is sort of disappearing, and
It
I want
is.
to back with a, you know, with sort of my own little nuance to it. But you know, that's the music that I love, and it's nobody's doing it anymore, man. Everybody's so stuck on pop, and
Hmm.
you know, I just want to bring back, you know, instruments and singing and good lyrics, and you know, just music you could rock out to, you could cry to, you could
Right, exactly.
everything to. So we're hopefully I'll be teasing that soon.
Oh man, yeah, I would really love to hear it because I mean that's what I like too, like rock music, but like old rock music because nothing new is good anymore.
I couldn't even name a new rock band, to be honest. It's like I'm so dearly holding on to Kings of Leon. That's as new as I go, and that's already 2003, man.
I know, right? Exactly. Yeah, that's one thing I'm looking forward to is when they start letting bands play again, because
Oh,
that was like I loved doing that. That's what I would do. I went to so many shows, saw so many bands live, and oh my God, I can't wait to see that again.
that's what I miss the most is concerts for sure.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Did you ever see um Marilyn Manson live like that? That was wild.
No, I have not. I can't even imagine what that's like.
Yeah, it was really insane.
Yeah.
And do you have anything coming out next that you want to like push your plug or anything?
No, man, I'm you know, I'm tied down to Lone Star. Uh
Yeah.
but episode 10 is going to be a great one. It's a great one for TK and Owen. It's a great one for TK and Carlos, and you know, right now it's public that we take the next step in our relationship, but
Hmm.
you know, we'll see what that means, and it's a really fun episode, really feel good, and great stuff between TK, Carlos, and Owen. So that's going to be exciting.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice. And where can fans find you at? Like, what's your, if you have a site and social media and all that stuff?
media is, it's only Instagram and Twitter, and it's my first and last name. It's very simple. And yeah, man.
All right, buddy. I want to thank you again for taking time out of your night and doing this. Like, I was really looking forward to talking to you. I love the show. I love who you play. I did see Smiley Face Killers, and it was a really good horror movie because I'm a huge horror fan.
Thanks, man.
And yeah, oh yeah, that's because I'm a horror fan. I forgot to ask the most important question. Um, what horror films do you like to watch?
Oh my God, dude. I'm forever obsessed with the Halloween films. Obviously, the older ones. I'm not too crazy about the newer ones, to be completely honest. And then I love, funny enough, I love The Strangers with Liv Tyler.
Yeah.
I can watch that every single month for sure. That movie scares the shit out of me. Because I like that it's like real, like that stuff can happen. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
it can.
So I like that, and then obviously, I love, like, growing up, I love Paranormal Activity and Insidious. I was like a teenager when those movies came out, and I just remember like what an event it was to go see those movies in theaters, and it was like, nobody was making movies like that, and then Conjuring came out, and I still think that's the scariest movie of all time. Maybe
Crazy, that movie.
like maybe if I watch it now, maybe but then I also like classics like Rosemary's Baby. I think is just
Yes.
it's a masterpiece, and it's so psychological. I think that movie changed the whole meaning of what is a horror film, and obviously The Shining, and I love the classics. I like a little bit of everything, but I think newer films probably like The Strangers and Paranormal and those films. Those movies are so fun to watch, man.
Nice. Yeah, I'm such a huge horror fan. That's why I made a horror site, and that's awesome to hear, like, all the horror films you like. I can't believe I was about to end the interview without asking you what your favorite horror movies were.
Catch, man.
All right, buddy. Once again, thanks for taking time out of your night and doing the interview.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it.
Thanks, man.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Have a good one.